Okay, so this is a very basic introduction to TinkerCAD. We're going to try to make this circuit, so it's going to have a battery, a switch, an LED, and a resistor, and we'll work up towards that. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to open up a browser, and we're going to type in TinkerCAD and hit enter. So when I click on their website, I'm presented with this option. So you're going to actually sign up. So it's probably best to use a personal account. If you have a Fusion, or sorry, not a Fusion, but an Autodesk account, you can use that. Otherwise, you're going to create one using an email. I don't know if you could set it up with your Google account or not. Now, for me, I already have an account, so I could just go to sign in. And I'm an educator, and I'm using a private account, and I'm already set up, and I'm good to go. So once you get through that initial hurdle, you're going to be looking at creating a design. So you have a whole bunch of tools sort of on your left, and I'm going to go to create and a circuit, and you're given this blank canvas. So to start off, on the right we have a bunch of different things that you could set this as. So you could have it as all or basic, you can have it as Arduino based, you can have it just anything you choose. So I'm going to choose all, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at a light bulb. So we got a light bulb and we need a power source. So I'm going to use a recognizable power source to start off with, and that would be a 9-volt battery. Now you can actually rotate it using this key here. So it says that if you hit R on the keyboard, you can rotate things, or you can use that. So once you get the hang of it, you can rotate it. So now it's fairly nice to work with. This is the negative terminal, you can see by the minus sign, and when I move it I start off with green, and that's the default. But if I hit the 1 on the keyboard, I can actually make this kind of go however I want. And the next thing I would do is hook up the other side. Now it's going to be black. Actually, you got some choices in wire there. Now, if I want to change that to red, just to keep with the proper color pattern when we're doing electronics, I can just hit number 2 on the keyboard. So at this point, we can zoom in, we can pan left and right, and we can hit simulation, and it's going to be lit up. So that's kind of a nice little simulation. So what we can do is we can delete one of the wires, and we can add a switch in. So there's a few switches. The simplest one is this tack switch. We use it quite a bit in electronics. And we're going to just make sure that we hook one side up to the light. And then if we're going to do it wrong, so let's do it wrong first. So in this case, we'd hit simulation and it would be lit already. So it doesn't actually go through the switch and it wouldn't do anything. So to fix that, we would just change our contact, and we'd move it to the opposite side so it's kind of crossing the switch. And now when you hit simulate, you can press the button and it'll light up, which is how a switch should work. Okay, so I promised you that we were going to use a different power. So let's take a look at the other powers. We're looking for battery. You can type up here if you want, but there's not that many components. Where is it? Okay, so here's an interesting battery. So if you click on it, you can change the number of cells. So let's make it 3 cells. We can add a switch if we want. We have a switch in the circuit, so maybe we'll leave that turned off for now. We can grab this side. Now we had the red side before, so maybe we'll just keep consistent with that. And we'll change this to black, so we hit number 1 on the keyboard, and we connect it. So now when we hit simulate, we have nothing until we press the button, and we have it lit up. Okay, so we're getting close to where we wanted to be. we're going to change this to an LED. And you can actually change the color if you want. So I don't know, let's go blue. Okay, we're going to delete our light bulb. We're going to put our LED in. And when we hover over it, it says cathode. So let's do it wrong again. And this is anode. And so we're going to hit simulate. And when we press the button, nothing happens. And the reason that nothing happens is because the cathode is the negative side and the anode is the positive side. So that's an important distinction. So anode is going to be number 2. You can also change it up here ahead of time, but it's so easy to just click the numbers on the keyboard. And then on this side, we can change it to 1. So that's black. And this is the cathode side. Okay, so now when we press the button, we have it light up, but it's too much voltage. So we've over voltaged that LED. And so that's where we bring in the resistor. So here's a resistor. We can put it on either side, but let's get rid of the anode side. We want to change it to number 2. We want to come over and click. So now when we hit play on our simulation, it should just light up and it's not going to wreck the LED or over voltage the LED. Now one side thing is that you can change the brightness of the LED. It's not going to show up that great in the simulation by changing this to an ohm value. 1 ohms, if you want, is actually going to cause it to blow up. So we could start playing with the values and see what is the minimum value. So this little quest or attention means that you're getting very close to having it damaged. If you go to 50, you can get a warning. So you could play with which number is the lowest. And one thing to note is that the color pattern on the resistors is actually correlates to the number. So if I change this to 200, it's going to look very similar to the 1K, but they'll be in the reverse order. And in a future lesson, we'll take a look at how you decode the colors on a resistor, but for now, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so 1K is safe, but it's not very bright. And if you could change it to ohms and maybe make it 100 ohms, it still will be safe-ish, but it's going to be brighter. And the difference is the more current that it's flowing through that LED, the shorter time that it's going to last. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. What you're going to do is submit this to me. If you submit it as a video, then I can check it out. There's also a send link. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to use a program called FreeCam 8. FreeCam 8. And the way you use that program is it's free to download, so you can use it at home or whatever, and you just basically select a new recording. And over on my other screen is a box. And so I want to surround the box around the object that I want, so you can be your producer. It's got these little grips so you can make it smaller. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that the part that you want to show is in view. So I'm going to hit record for this. It's going to count down. Once it hits 0, I'm going to make sure that I press the button. So in this case, start the simulation. And then I can hit done. And it will create a video. And so you can play that video. Now the important thing for submitting it to me is you want to save as video. Okay, you don't want to save as project. And in this case, you could upload to YouTube if you wanted to. So it's a little tool. And you would give it a name, and it would save it as a WAV file or a WMV file. And you can submit that to me for marks. Okay, hopefully you have fun with that. Good luck, have fun.